Hey guys, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Pillow Talk Sunday.
It's actually football Sunday, but
We got time.
we have some
We got
time for the Cowboys show up.
All right, guys. So the question is, is it safe traveling as lesbians, and what's it like?
Wait, we're lesbians?
You didn't know that?
No.
Oh.
Shit.
Well, we can go to counseling, and then I'm sure it'll get sorted out just fine. All right, guys. So this is a question that does get brought up, of course, with people that are like us. I would say and excuse the terminology, we might be a little old because all these names and nicknames for people change all the time. But I would say for the ones that are more feminine, you don't really, you're just like any other person walking down the street. Obviously, you don't get noticed like that. But I would say, obviously, depending on who you're with, of course, we're like, oh, okay, I can put that together. But for like, if you're like a femme and you're by yourself, or you're in a relationship with two femmes, I don't think you're gonna get hassled at all because they're just gonna think you're best buds or sisters or cousins or whatever. So that part you should be fine. The next thing I would say would be everything is off of instincts. Like I would say follow your instincts, and that's anywhere, whether you're traveling, you're in the States, whatever. But especially with traveling, I would say just follow your instincts. If you feel like, okay, this might not be the most safest place for us because you can feel like the tension or whatever, just don't put yourself in that situation and keep on moving. Right? Wouldn't you say that? I would say that's huge, is your instincts.
Yeah, don't draw attention to yourself if you're in an area like that. You know what I mean? But I mean, we've been traveling a while and we hadn't had any serious worries. So,
Yes.
knock on wood.
Ooh, that feels like concrete back here. All right. So with that, I would also go towards the with putting yourself in situations. Yeah, you can take yourself out of it, but sometimes, no matter where you are, you're gonna get the stares. We get stares a lot. Sometimes. Usually, I'm pretty good at like letting it be, but sometimes I will get a little feisty about it.
She notices it more than me. Like, I get stared a lot because I have short hair. I even had shorter hair in the beginning. And so people would, like, look at me like, is that a guy? Is that a girl? I kind of ignore it because I'm used to it. So I never notice, really. She always notices, and I'm just like, whatever, moving on. So it doesn't really bother me as much. The only time it kind of bothers me, which I'm used to it now, is the he, sir, stuff like that when you're like, dude, really? But I guess they just see short hair and no makeup and the way I dress, and they assume I'm a man.
Yeah.
But you just get used to that. I don't think it's a big deal. Once you're used to it, it's fine.
Yeah, and like Nicole in the beginning was kind of like, what the hell, you know? And then like, of course, like when, I don't know, getting water or something, I'm like, oh, that's for her. And then they'll kind of be like, oh, shoot. Like, they'll get all confused.
Or like, literally confused.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, wait, what are you talking about? Like, they're not understanding, like, they messed up. It's a girl, but.
Yeah, and then sometimes they'll like act like they're correcting you. Like, no, here's his water. And you're just like, oh, God. And so it's kind of like you don't get into it. Of course, there's those who are like, fight for it and blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, I'm not in my own country. I'm not trying to do nothing crazy and get caught up in something I'm not supposed to. So you kind of just, you got to be the bigger person in a lot of these situations. Another thing I would say would be,
don't draw attention to yourself. I mean, obviously we're proud with our relationship. We don't really care what people think. But at the same time, we're not all over each other. Like, I don't want to see a straight couple making out as much. Either would I, just a lesbian couple. So we don't call attention to ourselves. We're not all over each other.
Yeah.
So there's a difference too. So if you're a younger couple that's like, I'm out and proud,
be all over each other
and rainbow everything, you know what I mean? Like, you're probably gonna have more attention. People are gonna be staring at you because they're like, what the heck? Two women are making out. Why wouldn't they stare? I would stare. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
So that's another thing. We don't draw attention to ourselves. We're just like a normal couple. And that's what I want people to know, that lesbians, gay guys, whatever, are normal people too.
Yeah. We were like that even back home. You know, we didn't, I don't know, we're not really all over each other. Yeah, of course, I'll hold hands or kiss on the cheek, whatever. We like to do this thing where I'll ask for a chicken wing, or Nicole will be like, you want a chicken wing? And I'll say, yeah, babe, I want a chicken wing. So and it's just, you know, the little hook and the little, you know, that's more my thing. Sometimes even holding hands, I'm just like, it's too fucking hot to be holding hands, or my hands are cold, I want to put them in my pocket. You know, just weird things. But it's like, don't parade yourself for there to be a problem, even though, of course, like, equality and everything should be normal. Everyone should be treated the same. But sometimes being in another country, you don't know, you know, what the deal is with that. I mean, we do hear harsh stories, even asking people, so, like, what's it like being gay here or there?
Yeah.
And you hear stories all the time, and so it's like, don't even put yourself in that situation. So that's that. And I would say a lot of it's similar to the States, though. You'll get stares in the States. You'll get people...
You'll get people that, like, literally you ruin them their day because you're together. Like, they'll just look at you and be, like, disgusted. We got that in the States, though, so, like, real old people especially. But I just kind of laugh because I'm like, my relationship is ruining your life. That's kind of funny. So you just can't be bothered by it.
Yeah.
And don't make it worse by, like, start making out. Like, oh, yeah.
We're going to show you. Yeah, just let it be. I would say the worst reaction that we got, well, it's been okay so far. Like I said, we kind of like go with our gut instincts. We do things. We try to do things as smart as we can. So we haven't run anything too terrible. I would say the worst that's happened was in Portugal. Was it Portugal? Yeah. It was on the train, and we weren't holding hands. We didn't even sit next to each other. Nicole was sitting in front of me, and I was sitting on the seat in front of her because it's like 2 and 2 facing each other. And this guy saw us walk on together, and he looked at me, and I can feel someone staring. You know that feeling you can feel someone staring at you? So I kind of look over, and he's still staring, doesn't even look away. So then I'm kind of like, what do I do? Do I look away? Do I smile? Do I say hi? Like, what do I do? So I kind of just like smiled at him like a hello. And he looked at me with this like straight freaky glare, and then he looked over at like Nicole, looks back at me, and just like shakes his head and rolls his eyes like, ugh. And I was like, okay, that just happened. But it's kind of like, you know,
like I said, you ruined their day.
Yeah, so you just kind of let it be. It is what it is. And
when we started traveling, I looked up a lot of stuff because I was concerned, especially starting in like Mexico. We were just worried, and we couldn't hardly find any information on it. Most of them, it was either femme girls walking around or traveling. But as being like a more butchier one, even though I hate that, but we couldn't find much, and we were concerned with like staying in Airbnbs. Like, we didn't know what to put, so we kind of like we're a couple from Arizona. We usually put, and we haven't had no problems. Like, our picture is our picture, so they can assume stuff or not. And some people will be nosy, but they usually will say, this is what they usually say: "Are you sisters? Is that your cousin?"
Oh yes, that happened in Nicaragua. So we were in Nicaragua at the Airbnb, and we had to fill out paperwork, and they wanted it for each person. But I was like, because our information was the same as far as the stuff that they were asking for. So I was like, can we just put the one person? I was like, we have the same name. And she just was like, are you guys cousins? And she like, I don't know, she felt the need to like want to know why our names matched.
People are just nosy.
And I was just like, no, you know. And sometimes it's like, yeah, you'll come out and say, like, no, you know, we're married. Or other times it's like you get the feel. Also goes back to instincts. You get the feel of that person's vibe and you just kind of like, yeah, we're cousins, whatever. And you just kind of move on. I mean, we have, like she said, we haven't had any problems with Airbnb. We did run into a couple in London who had a problem with Airbnb out here in Ireland. And that they were actually had a reservation. And then once they showed up, and they're also a married couple, once they showed up, the lady was like, oh, we don't have that room available anymore. Because it had a one bed. So they're like, okay, she's like, I can give you another room. So she gave him another room with 2 separate beds because the thought of like 2, you know, women sleeping in one bed was just too crazy. But honestly, we haven't had any problems. I think Ireland has been the very first place, actually I can say for sure, Ireland has been the very first place where Nicole has not been confused with a male. Like, she hasn't been called he, him, Mr., nothing, not even once. And I was like, oh,
it was a lot.
You know? Oh, yeah, it was a lot.
But I'm kind of used to it because even in the States, I got it so many times. Cause especially if I'm facing the other way, excuse me, sir. And I have a booty, so it's kind of like, really?
Yeah, and she has tight pants on.
You're just kind of used to it. It's no big deal. But I wouldn't let it stop you. Like, just basic common sense. Same stuff in the state. Common sense. Know your surroundings. You can feel people out. You can feel if there's tension and stuff like that. Obviously, if you're a drinker and you're going out, be careful of that. If you're really wasted and you're just going to walk home by yourself, stuff like that. We don't do that, so we haven't had that experience. But just common sense stuff. I wouldn't be worried, especially times are kind of changing. More countries are having equal rights and gay marriages and stuff. We usually ask, in most of the countries we've been to so far, they said they just passed the gay marriage thing or whatever, so I wouldn't let it stop you. I wouldn't make it one of the biggest concerns because I don't think it is.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I wouldn't make it like a huge concern. Of course, but that's with everybody. If you go to a country that's not your own, of course you're kind of weary, like, oh, you know, when you hear all these stories and everyone wants to tell you that this place is bad and these people are bad, but really, if it's something you want to do, you know, go and do it. It doesn't matter who you are, what you do, who you're with, you know, who you love. It doesn't matter. Go do it, live the experience, and just be cautious of what you're doing and be smart. You know, don't go get drunk and wandering the streets at like 2 in the morning. I mean, if that's your thing, you know, more power to you and good luck. But, you know, just be smart about things. But like she said, just go for it. And that would be what we had to say about that. I mean, of course, if we come across anything, because we still have, I think, like 7 months, 6 months to go. But if we come across something for sure, we'll let you guys know. But as of now, that is our advice. Go do it, have fun, explore the world, and be curious again like a child.
Yeah, and if you have any questions or if you have any experiences for countries, let us know in the comments. Because it's always good to give advice or if you have a story to share.
Yeah. But that's that, guys. Alright, so if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or would just like to share your story, go ahead and share it below. And go ahead and subscribe to One Love 2 Backpacks on YouTube and follow us on Instagram. And those that are subscribed, thank you so much for the love. Bye.
Yeah. And go Cowboys!
Go Cowboys!